We left our brave adventurers. They were just leaving the gates of Moria.
That's right. And now we are on Book 2, Chapter 6 of Fellowship of the Ring, Lothlorien.
Which means beautiful forest in Cinderin.
Does it?
No, I don't know. Hold on.
Uh-oh. We're going to get hate mail.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you guys aren't fans. You guys are posers.
What it means is, it means Lothlorien.
The dream flower.
Oh.
The dreamland. Lorien, the dreamland. Lothlorien's the dream flower. So.
The dream flower.
Yeah, I was close.
The Eleanor and the Nifredel. Well, here we are. We're coming out of the darkness into the light. How's that? How's that for a transition?
Luckily enough, it was light.
Yes. Otherwise, they'd be screwed because the orcs would just be hot on their tail.
Be like, you can run, but you can't hide.
So they're coming out of Moria, and they are heading into, well, we enter a new chapter, Lothlorien. Let's talk for a second at that transition space between coming out of the darkness and into the light.
Right.
But of course, they're coming into the light, but with a grievous sense of loss.
Right.
Now, what do you feel like?
Which seriously lasts for about like 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Like, okay, so I have a theory about this.
Okay.
So there is a moment on the very last page of Khazad-dûm, right?
Right.
Where they leave the darkness and they leave Moria, and it says, grief at last wholly overcame them, and they wept long. Some standing and silent, some cast upon the ground. Doom, doom, the drum beats faded. Okay, great end to a chapter, by the way.
Okay, cool.
So, and then you turn the page. Alas, I fear we cannot stay here longer. So they're kind of overcome with grief, and then Aragorn, beginning of the next chapter, kind of snaps them to attention. He's their leader, and he's the new leader now that Gandalf's gone. And he's pushing them to go. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
It's okay, can you go back to the
okay.
Doom, great end to the chapter, but what I really think they should do at the end of each chapter is Sam will say, well, I'm back.
Why would Sam say that at the end of this chapter? Because
that's the end of the book. So it's like every chapter should like reference. It's dumb. Sorry.
That was your worst comment that you've ever made.
Because it's so ridiculous. I mean, come on, it's dumb.
Okay, so like him saying I'm back means I'm back into the outside light world.
Yes, I'm back. Yeah. I'm back into.
I'm back. I'm back into the non-Moria type of landscape.
I'm sorry, I'm feeling silly, but that should be like Sam's like catchphrase. Well, I'm back.
It's like eat my shorts.
I know. I don't know. Like I don't want to force it, but Sam's catchphrase is I'm back.
I'm back.
If we were writing a sitcom.
So what you're saying is at the very end of The Lord of the Rings, where he says that, like the last words of the whole epic grand work is I'm back. Cue like the laugh track. Well, I'm back.
And then well, Lord of the Rings brought to you by Norman Lear and Aaron Spelling. From Gary Marshall, from the creator of Happy Days, comes Lord of the Rings. Sorry.
Right. I hope our many fans, our 332 fans out there, appreciate that we love Tolkien, and even though we're constantly like kind of making light of the Lord of the Rings, that it comes from a place of love.
It's a place of love, but here's the thing: we love Tolkien, and we equally love Python.
All that aside, the serious question is, it doesn't seem like they shed a tear at the end of chapter 5 of book 2, but here we are, chapter 6, and there's no time to shed a tear for Gandalf. And in fact, one might think that their actions almost make light of Gandalf's passing because they're like, oh, let's look in the mirror. I've never seen it before. Like they're going
they don't have
sightseeing.
time to like mourn Gandalf, but hey, let's go check this shit out.
Like, come here. And like Frodo and Sam are like, does Sam join them? Yeah. Like they're
Yes, Sam snuck up. Yeah.
he snuck up.
Dude,
Yeah, he snuck up from
Sam
behind.
goes
That's right.
everywhere that Frodo's going. Have you ever seen that Office meme where Dwight's hanging out in the like Dave and Buster's or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then Angela comes up by his arm and goes, fuck, like that. You know what I'm saying? That's Sam.
Right. Like, you're always behind me.
Like, oh, what?
Yeah.
So
it's sad.
And again,
but we love Sam.
So here, like, it's funny that Frodo and Sam are like lagging behind, right, on this.
Uh-huh.
But then, like, they still went and saw the mirror. It's like they're dragging them all over. But it's like, oh yeah, by the way, these guys are hurt. So it shows you like how much they look at Sam. Like, he had,
so Sam's like got a grievous flesh wound.
He has a gash on his head, and they're like, oh, hey Sam, you're hurt too.
Check out this view.
I know. Like, like Sam should have been like, I would if there weren't so much blood in my eyes.
Yeah, great. Mirror. Nice. I can't see it for the blood in my eyes.
I know.
So Sam and Frodo are lagging because they're injured, right? And I'm sorry. So Aragorn's like, I'm so sorry, Frodo. He cried, full of concern. So much has happened on this day. Come now. Come, Boromir. We will carry them. Oh,
but again, we have such need of haste. But go look at the mirror. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We have such need of haste because you spent an hour looking at the mirror.
I know. I mean, again, I mean, like I said, we
digress.
Yes,
we love Tolkien, but yeah, the mirror was a bit of a. It seemed a little unnecessary. It was a side quest.
Yeah. It didn't seem so like I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
Necessary?
Crucial that we get as far away from Moria as possible. But all right, anyway.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak for a moment seriously about Tolkien's the way he depicts this loss of Gandalf and how they cry for a moment at the end of Khazad-dûm, but right when Lothlorien picks up at the beginning of the chapter, they force themselves to kind of move on quickly and don't immediately get caught up in their own grief.
Right.
The grief that kind of floors them as is depicted more cinematically in Jackson. I can't help but make the parallel between the loss of Gandalf, which is the loss of their best friend in this great kind of battle. And I know people make this comparison a lot between, the battles as they appear in The Lord of the Rings and Tolkien's experience in World War I. But it is true that Tolkien lost, two of his best friends, and not only his friends, but his kind of comrades in arms, in a sense.
Right.
Members of his little secret society that he formed called the Tea Club Barovian Society. So two of his best friends, Robert Gilson and Geoffrey Bache Smith, died in the Battle of the Somme. Okay. And Tolkien, I think he obviously was devastated by the loss of his friends, but it's interesting to note that that Christopher Bache Smith encouraged Tolkien to kind of keep the battle going and, in a sense, not to be so caught up in his own death and don't mourn him over much, but mainly focus on their task.
Right.
It's actually interesting. There's a quote that survives from Geoffrey Bache Smith writing to Tolkien, and he says this: "My chief consolation is that if I am scuppered tonight, in other words, killed, there will still be left a member of our school, of our group, to voice what I dreamed and what we all agreed upon. For the death of one of its members cannot, if I am determined, dissolve the group. Death can make us loathsome and helpless as individuals, but it cannot put an end to the immortal four, meaning the four TCBS society that he formed. May God bless you, my dear John Ronald, and may you say things that I have tried to say long after I am not there to say them, if such be my lot. So it's a very serious and deep sense in which the focus for Tolkien was to continue what he saw to be his mission in a literary or spiritual or cultural sense, and not get bogged down in grief, and to continue the fight. And I can't help but make the parallel between this moment in the results of the Battle of the Somme with Frodo, Aragorn, deciding to go on and to stay stoic in the face of loss, and to continue on with the mission.
Yeah.
So Boromir does not want to go into Lothlorien, and I wonder why. What's his hang up?
I don't know what his hang up is. But he made a big, you can see a plain road, though it led through a hedge of swords, said Boromir. Like I said, swords. By a strange path, the company has been led, and so far to evil. So, basically, I guess, and again, I wonder if this is like Saruman or.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it probably. You know how we were speculating how Denethor was probably coming under the corrupt influence of Saruman, because Saruman would go look at the libraries of Minas Tirith, and remember we were talking about how there was probably some moments where Boromir, where Saruman was like, Denethor, this Gandalf guy, he's not to be trusted.
Yeah.
So that same whispering from Saruman, my guess, if I had to guess, that's probably where the whisperings reached Boromir, turning him against the elves of Lothlorien. Right.
And there's a clue that it happened within recent history, because Aragorn right there says, but lore wanes in Gondor, Boromir, if in the city of those who once were wise now speak evil of Lothlorien. I mean,
perfect.
Granted, Aragorn has been around for, not forever,
right,
but he's been around for a long time, where it's like this is just of recent vintage, so to speak.
That's right. So he's saying that back in the day, before the lore waned, people of Gondor would have known that Lothlorien was a place to be trusted and a good place,
right?
Galadriel, etc. So he's saying that something's corrupting the lore masters of the city, and I think it's probably Saruman.
Yeah, Sauron.
That's my speculation.
Too. It could be Sauron too, through the Palantir.
Ooh, yeah, could be the.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like a double whammy.
A total double whammy, yeah. And like we said, we've speculated about this before. There's that three-way phone call in the Palantir, Denethor, Saruman, and Sauron, and they're probably like, yeah, Denethor, Lothlorien is bad. Stay away from Lothlorien.
Yeah. But I mean, or he could just be, showing, looking with the Palantir, like seeing the stuff that he wanted.
Yeah,
Denethor to see, and it's Saruman for as well. But it's funny though, because after this, right, like Boromir dummies up the rest of the chapter. You know
he what?
Saying? Boromir dummies up the rest of the chapter. It's like he doesn't say anything.
Oh, right. Well, the other thing is, it's not just Boromir who is hesitant or who isn't necessarily quick to embrace the elves of Lothlorien, because obviously Gimli, is forced to put on the blindfold, and it's stated like one of the characteristics of the evil that has plagued recent decades or whatever in Middle Earth is that you have the free peoples who have become suspicious of each other.
Yeah.
So Boromir becoming suspicious of the elves of Lothlorien is another example. And just a little bit later, Gimli and Legolas, Gimli, has his hand on his axe and is like, we're not put a blindfold on me.
Yeah, plague on. But here's what's funny though. This is what I was going to bring up though. All right, so you've got them like you've got Haldir saying, "Okay, Gimli, we're going to have to put a blindfold on you," and like the dynamic and the is going on between Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas and Haldir, right? So essentially, it's like those four characters are talking. But Boromir is back there. It's like, what did I tell you guys? What did I tell you?
Right.
I said I didn't want to come here, and look at what these assholes are doing.
Right.
This isn't, I mean, like it would be funny if they showed him back there just slipping a chain, like, dude. Like Boromir's kind of like, we got to walk across a rope. Come on, guys.
It's a trap.
It's like they have no bridges. How are we gonna get back?
Right.
Again, it would be funny, like telling this whole story from like Boromir's point of view, like knowing that he's like, I don't want to go here, and like everything up to this chapter is like showing, like he might have a point.
Yeah, right. So like, is there no other way? He said, and then Aragorn's like, what other fairer way would you desire? Like Aragorn's like, this is like the best possible place we could go. This is a good option. It's fair. It's safe. A plain road, though it led through a hedge of swords, said Boromir, by strange paths has this company been led, and so far to evil fortune. So he's already referring back to the paths they've taken before. So it's like he's chafing under Aragorn's leadership. And Gandalf to a certain extent, like you keep leading us towards these terrible ways that are leading to misfortune. Against my will, we passed under the shades of Moria to our loss, and now we must enter the Golden Wood, you say. But of that perilous land we have heard in Gondor, and it is said that few come out who once go in, and of that few none have escaped unscathed.
Well,
and Aragorn's like, say not unscathed, but if you say unchanged, then maybe you will speak the truth.
Well, I mean, like again, I mean, I guess it would depend on what the people that go into Lothlorien like are actually up to. You know what I'm talking about?
Like elves for Tolkien were perilous to a certain extent. Like,
yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, I'm just kind of off the top of my head, but like he had a book on fairy stories, where he talks about this word "fey," F-A-Y, which is I think what the word fairy comes from. Fey.
And fey means F-E-Y, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry, F-E-Y, and it means like perilous. It means like dangerous, and so like a fairy or the fairy land or a fairy world is a beautiful world, but it has dangers to it. So Lothlorien, obviously, it's a beautiful, amazing, like almost exalted realm, but to get there, they will defend it and they will shoot you if like you come there with bad intentions or something. So it's not, it's not it's not without its own dangers.
Maybe it's not even necessarily bad intentions. It's just like, all right, you've seen too much. Sorry, buddy. Because again, you're talking about like they can't take that chance,
right? Yeah. I mean, that's why they blindfolded Gimli.
Yeah.
They have things to protect.
Because they're racist.
Because they're totally racist. So. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, but did you have anything else to say about Boromir? So, I didn't even notice this. Then lead on, said Boromir, but it is perilous. There's that word again, like, perilous indeed, said Aragorn, fair and perilous, but only evil. I'm gonna have to like look up. This is Tolkien on fairy stories. Okay,
Okay.
it's like the first. I don't think it's any accident that like literally in the second sentence of this essay on fairy stories, he uses the word perilous.
Right.
He goes, I propose to speak about fairy stories, though I am aware that this is a rash adventure. Fairy is a perilous land, and in it are
Right.
pitfalls for the unwary and dungeons for the overbold.
Right.
And overbold I may be accounted for, though I have been a lover of fairy stories since I learned to read and have at times thought about them. I have not studied them professionally. I have been hardly more than a wandering explorer or trespasser in the land full of wonder, but not of information. So I think Tolkien sees Lothlorien as like that archetypal fairyland that he's been thinking about his whole life, a place that's like, and I want to save this for actually our next episode because we could kind of go quite deep into this, but maybe just as a telegraph to the next episode that when I think it's a great moment when they arrive, when they take off the blindfold. I want to talk about that next episode.